Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel where we make online learning as easy as possible. Okay, so in this video, I'm gonna discuss to you I'm gonna teach you how to calculate the length of an arc. Okay, so this is still part of a series of lectures that I'm doing for integral calculus. So this topic in the undergraduate undergraduate level is usually discussed in the finals. Okay? Part ito ng finals kung saan itong topic na ito, this is challenging. Why? For undergraduate students, you are required, of course, to present your solution. And calculation of arc lengths usually involve the use of trigonometric substitution. And sometimes, it also involves the use of integration by parts. And these two, yung trigonometric substitution and integration by parts, these are special techniques of integration. Hindi sila basic. Okay? But, if you are reviewing for the board exam, madali lang din itong arc length na ito. Bakit? Kasi once na ma-formulate mo yung integral equation, kinakailangan mo na lang ng calculator, i-input mo sa calc yung i-integrate mo, and then poof, lalabas na yung sagot. Okay? So in this episode, I'm gonna do both, no? Papakita ko kung paano siya i-solve sa Calculum, and later, after that, isosolve ko siya manually, no? Using the conventional method for the benefit of those who are beginning to learn calculus. Now, saan ba ginagamit itong arc length na ito? Halimbawa, ito yung function, no? Ito yung graph niya. Gusto kong malaman gaano kahaba itong kulay yellow na curve na ito. So, that can be obtained by means of integration. Now, saan siya ginagamit? For example, a particle is traveling along a certain path, and that path is described by a certain function. Now, you would like to know and calculate the total distance that is traveled by that particle. Now, of course, if that particle is moving along the graph of that function, kinakailangan mong malaman kung gaano kahaba yung graph ng function. And that can be obtained using the calculation of arc lengths, no? Na ginagamitan nga ng integration. Okay? So, to introduce to you the topic, puntahan na natin yung slide na to kung saan dito ko ituturo sa inyo kung paano dinerive yung formula, no, sa pagko-compute ng arc length. Okay? Sige. Halimbawa, excuse me. Meron tayo ditong graph. Ito yung graph ng function, no, na gusto nating kuhanan ng length, no. So dito meron tayong point 1 at saka point 2. So si point 1 x1 y1, si point 2 naman ay x2 y2. Now, hindi pa natin alam kung gaano yan kahaba, di ba? So ang gagawin mo, kukuha ka lang ng napakaliit na part, no, ng total length. And that total length is usually denoted by letter S, no? Letter S. So, a very small portion of S, infinitely small portion of S, we call it the differential of S, no? ds. Okay? Now, ito yung maliit na portion, no? Pinalaki ko lang for the sake, of course, of illustration. But in reality, this is an infinitely small portion of S. That's why we represent it using the differential, no? ds. Now, dahil sa sobrang liit niya ng ds na yan, kapag zoom in mo siya, para na siyang isang straight na line segment, no? Kasi ang liit-liit niya eh. So, kapag napakaliit nung part na yan, parang wala na siyang curvature, no? At mimistula na siya na parang ganito. Yan, oh, line segment na lang siya. So, from here to there, ito yung endpoints ng ds mo, no? So, dito, lagyan natin ng label na ds, no? Now, lagyan natin ito ng label na dx at saka dy. Na baka magselo sila eh. So, labelan din natin dx at saka dy. Now, again, we are interested to solve for the total length of S. But here, we have a right triangle containing dx, dy, and ds. Okay? So, from this right triangle, it's very obvious that we can use Pythagorean theorem. Now, applyan natin yun ng Pythagorean theorem. Okay, sulat tayo. Yellow para masaya, no? So, applying the Pythagorean theorem, we'll have ds squared equals dx squared plus dy squared. And then, let's divide both sides by dx. Sir, bakit po dx yung ginawa mong pan-divide? Wala lang, para magkaroon ka ng dy over dx, which is the first derivative of the function, no? So, if I divide both sides by dx squared, I will have ds over dx squared equals 1 na lang to plus dito magkakaroon ako ng dy over dx and then squared. Okay? So, I can get the square root of both sides. Para ang matira sa left is just ds over dx. Tapos dito magkakaroon ng square root. 1 plus. This dy over dx can simply be written as y prime, right? Y squared. So, we now have y prime. Now, to get ds, I can multiply both sides by dx. No? And now, I have ds. Okay? ds is now equal to the square root of 1 plus y prime squared and then dx. Now, this is just the differential of ds, the expression for this ds. Now, to get the total length of the arc, which is s, we integrate both sides. O, yun lang. Ganun lang po kasimple. No? So, we integrate both sides. So, now we have s equals the integral of the expression 1 plus, or the square root of 1 plus dy over dx. This is your y prime and then squared dx. Now, the variable of integration is x. Therefore, our limits must be from x1 to x2. Okay? However, there are times na hindi gumagana ang dx. Kasi kapag nag-integrate ka, nagkakataon minsan, nagkakaroon ng denominator nagkakaroon ng x sa denominator. At kapag nagkaroon ng x sa denominator and yung limit mo nagsimula sa 0, magiging undefined yung expression. So, dx will not work. So, sometimes, we will integrate in terms of y. Kaya, pwede mo rin gamitin yung formula na ito. Yan. So, s equals the integral of the same expression. Kaso nga lang, instead of dy over dx, you use dx over dy. No? So, dx over dy, derivative din siya of x with respect to y and then squared. So, this time, dy na tayo. So, the variable of integration is y. That's why our limit should be from y1 to y2. Okay? So, kinakailangan lang po, alam natin yung formula na ito sa pagko-compute ng arc length. Okay? So, gagamitin natin yan sa mga susunod na problems na aking isosolve. Now, I'll be solving 3 problems. Okay? Simulan na natin ang pagsosolve ng mga examples. Number 1. Ano daw ang length ng g of x equals 1/3 times the quantity 4 minus x raised to 3 halves mula sa x equals 0 and x equals 4. Okay. So, unlike the calculation of volumes and areas, dito kahit hindi mo na i-drawing yung function, no? Pero kung gusto mo, i-drawing mo lang para makita natin kung gaano kahaba, no? But it is not necessary, no? Not imperative, okay? Unlike sa pagko-compute mo ng volume na minsan, kinakailangan mo muna i-drawing para ma-imagine mo kung anong mafo-form, no? Dito, kahit hindi na. Bakit? Kasi first derivative lang naman yung kailangan mo. Again, but for the sake of illustration, ito yung graph, no? Nakukuha natin ang arc length. Mula daw 0, so mula lang dito hanggang 4. So ito siya. So this is almost a straight line. So a good approximation is to assume that this is a right triangle. No? That would be a good approximation. No? Kasi konti na lang magiging straight na yung curve na ito. No? But again, that is just an approximation. Now, to demonstrate how to use the formula, no, of for finding the arc length using integration, isosolve natin ito by means of integration. Okay? Now, ano nga yung formula sa pagko-compute ng arc length? Remember that S equals the integral of the square root of 1 plus the quantity y prime squared dx from x1 up to x2. So, we just get y prime. So, assuming ito yung y mo, no? So, y prime equals 1/3 times 3 halves. Okay? Times, ito, 4 minus x. 3 halves minus 1 is just 1/2. And then, the derivative of this is negative 1. Okay. So, we can cancel 3 there. So, our y prime is negative 1/2 times 4 minus x raised to 1/2. Okay, so this is our y prime. Now let us substitute this to the formula for finding the arc length. S is now equal to the integral of the square root of 1 plus y prime squared. Pag ito in-square ko, magiging 1/4 lang yan. No? And then kapag ito in-square ko, matatanggal yung 1/2. No? Magiging 4 minus x na lang siya. And then lalagyan ko dito ng dx. Okay? Now, s. So from, lagay natin yung limit from 0, ito yon to 4. Okay. Now, paano mo ito i-integrate? Okay. Para ma-integrate mo yan, pwede mo namang i-simplify yung nasa loob ng square root. S equals the integral of the square root of. Okay, so we have 1 plus 1/4 times 4 is just 1. And then negative 1/4 of x. And then dx again from 0 to 4. Okay, now, simplify lang natin to, magiging 2s equals the integral of the square root of 2 minus 1/4 of x and then dx from 0 to 4, which we can integrate by means of substitution, no? Pero again, no? Kung ikaw ay nagre-review na para sa board exam, a calculator would be very, very useful, no? Tapos na actually, no? Kahit hanggang dito ka na nga lang eh, no? If you are reviewing for the board exam, no? Kahit hanggang dito na lang sa part na to, okay na. I-input mo na lang yan sa calcu. Sige, gawin natin, no? So, that's the integral of the square root of, yun na lang, para mas kukunti yung pipindutin ko, 2 minus 1/4 of x from 0 to 4. Yan. Okay. So, magkakaroon akong sagot na 4.87. No? So, the answer here, gawin nating blue, is equal to 4.87. Okay? However, para sa mga undergrad, no, kinakailangan, ipakita mo yan. No? Pakita mo yan. So, paano mo yan isosolve? Let u be equal to 2 minus 1/4 x, and then du, of course, would be negative 1/4 of dx. So, we now integrate s equals the integral of, so this is your u, raised to 1/2. And then, yung dx, papalitan mo lang ng negative of 4 times du. Okay? Negative of 4 times du. Okay? So, the answer here will be negative 4 multiplied by u. Kapag in-integrate mo yung u to the 1/2, magiging 1/2 plus 1 is 3/2. So, 2/3. So, we have 2/3 and then u. Kung saan ang u natin ay 2 minus 4 or 1/4 rather. 2 minus 1/4 x, no, raised to 3/2. Okay? Shit, nag-brown out. Nag-brown out po. Oh my God. Pause muna. Ay, grabe. Wala nang power, buti na lang bumalik na siya. Okay, so ituloy na natin to. No? Yung sinosolve. Kinabahan ako eh. Start na yung recording ko. Yung ako pa naman mag-e-edit ng mga video putol-putol. Masyadong hassle. Anyway, solve na natin to. So, yung s natin is equal to negative 4 times 2/3. So, magiging negative 8 over 3 na lang siya. No? And then, 2 minus 1/4 x raised to 3/2. Okay? So, sulat natin dito. Ano nga yun, S? Kulay ng pen ko. Visit niya. So, S equals negative 8 over 3. Tama ba yun? Tama. 2 minus 1/4 x. So, here I have 2 minus 1/4 of x raised to 3/2, which we will evaluate from 0 to 4. Okay? So, isa-isahin natin, no? Para sa mga undergrad to, negative 8 over 3 times, no? So, we have 2 minus 1/4 times 4 is 1, right? 1/4 times x, which is 4, is 1 raised to 3/2 minus 2 minus 1/4 times 0 is 0. Ayan. Raised to 3 halves, and then parentheses. Okay? So here, negative 8 over 3 times, what is 2 minus 1? 1 raised to 3 halves is still 1. Now, minus 2 raised to 3 halves. Okay, so ito na yung answer natin, no? Na pwedeng pagtiyagaan kung wala kang calcu. But of course, to check, no? Kanina ang sagot natin 4.878758, no? Tingnan natin. So that's negative 8 over 5 times the quantity 1 minus 2 raised to 1.5 kasi 3 halves. Okay, so, ba't magkaiba? I'm sorry. 8 over 5 pala yung na-type ko dito. So, 8 over 3. Okay, so tama. 4.8758. Now, so the answers are the same. Or the answer here is the same. We have 4.8758. So, kagaya lang nung kanina. Okay? So, once again, sa mga nagre-review, para sa board exam, no, pwede na hanggang dito ka lang, no? Ayan. Ito, i-input mo na yan sa calcu mo. Kasi, marunong mag-integrate yung calcu. No? But again, for undergraduate students, yung mga freshmen na nagtitake ng integral calculus, this is your first course in integral calculus. Your teacher would require you to do or to present the solution or the complete solution to the problem. So, ito yung complete solution natin hanggang dito. Ano po? Okay? So, madali lang yan. No? Madali lang. No? So, kailangan lang nagpa-practice ka lagi. Now, let us solve another problem. Okay? Okay, so for problem number 2. Ito na siya. Calculate the arc length formed by y equals square root of x from x equals 0 to x equals 4. Parang suki yung 0 to 4, no? Parang yung problem kanina, yung limits niya, x equals 0 to x equals 4 din. No? So, pero this time, iba naman yung graph, square root of x. Di ba itong square root of x na to, this is just half of a parabola, which is opening to the right. No? So, anong itsura ng graph niyan? Ganito po. No? Anong kang magandang kulay? Yellow uli, para masaya. Ay, hindi. Graph siya. So, ibang kulay muna. Halimbawa, green. Yan. So, ano itsura ng square root of x? Ito yung parabola mo. Kulay green na matingkad. Yan. No? Tapos, from x equals 0 daw to x equals 4. Actually, sabi ko nga kanina, kahit hindi mo naman i-drawing, no? Bakit? Kasi ang kailangan mo lang y prime. So, bakit ko ito ginagawa? Again, for a better sense of appreciation for the topic. No, mas maganda pa rin na na-visualize natin kung ano ba yung sinosolve natin. Now, let us solve. No? Kailangan daw natin na malaman yung length ng arc nito from x equals 0 to 4. O, di madali lang. No? Ano nga yung formula ng arc length na s? That's the integral of the square root of 1 plus dy over dx squared and then dx from x1 to x2. Okay? So, let us solve for dy over dx or y prime. Now, so, this square root of x is x to the 1/2. The derivative of x to the 1/2 is 1/2 x to the negative 1/2. Now, if we will substitute this into the formula, we will get the square root of 1 plus, kapag ito in-square natin, magiging 1/4, no? Tapos ito magiging, pag in-square mo to, magiging to the negative 1 na lang. Or gawin ko na lang siyang 1 over 4x. And then, dx. Okay? From 0 to 4. Okay? Now, by inspection, oh shit, no? Nakita natin, oh my God, no? Na meron tayong 4x sa ilalim. Shit. Tapos magsisimula tayong mag-integrate sa 0. No? So, alam naman natin, if the denominator becomes 0, nagkakaroon tayo ng undefined expression. No? So, kung ikaw ay may common sense, no? This is a dead end. No? This is a dead end. Although, meron naman tayong ano dyan, may work around tayo na ginagawa. Pero hindi ko muna sasabihin dito. No? Basta may technique tayo dyan. Now, the solution to the problem is instead of integrating with respect to x, we now integrate with respect to y. No? So, ulitin ko ha. Kapag ikaw ay may presence of mind habang nagsosolve ng problem, dito pa lang mapapansin mo eh. No? So, sa expression na to, merong x sa denominator. Tapos, mag-integrate ka mula 0. No? So, ito pag in-integrate mo, magiging undefined yan. Kaya kahit i-input mo yan sa calcu, again, mamat error lang yung calcu mo. No? Now, actually, may technique nga dyan eh. Tuturo ko sa inyo yung technique. Sabi ko, hindi ko ituturo. Yung 0, wag mong gawing 0. Gawin mong 0.0001. No? So, you will get an approximate answer. Now, pero of course, yun ay hindi masyadong formal. No, gawin natin formal ang solution. No? Kasi yung mga undergrad, alangan naman, sasabihin nila sa teacher nila na, ma'am, ang ginawa ko po, kinalkyo ko lang yan. Tapos yung 0, pinalitan ko ng 0.001. O diba, hindi naman yung tatanggapin ng prof mo. No, kung ikaw ay nagre-review para sa board exam or nagtitake ka ng board exam, pwede yun. But for an undergraduate student, of course, your professor will not accept that. You have to show the complete solution. Now, the alternative way of solving is to express this in terms of dy. No? So, ano nga yung formula natin? Papalitan mo lang yung dy over dx ng dx over dy. Now, so s equals sa integral of the square root of 1 plus dx over dy squared dy from y1 to y2. Okay? So now, kailangan nating malaman yung bagong limits. O, madali lang yan, no? Yung x1 kasi is 0, no? Okay. So, kapag ang x ay 0, ano ang y? 0 din, no? So, itong y1 na to, tanggalin ko na, lagay ko na lang dito 0, no? Tapos itong y2 na to, tanggalin ko na rin, no? Kapag ka ang x2 ay equal sa 4, kapag ang x ay equal sa 4, ang y ay 2. So, from 0 to 2 tayo ngayon mag-integrate. Kung ito dy, 0 to 2 yung limits. Now, let's get dx over dy, no? So, dx over dy. So, ano ba yung x? Diba from here, x equals y squared. No, from this equation, x equals y squared. And our dx over dy is obviously 2y. Okay? So, now, we solve for s. S equals the integral of the square root of 1 plus 2y, i-square natin. No? 2y, and then, squared, okay, tapos dito, dy from 0 to 2. Okay, so paano mo ito i-integrate? No, kapag ka ito ay ginamitan mo ng substitution, no, magkakaroon ka dito ng term na quadratic. No? So, pagka yung quadratic ay iyong dinifferentiate, magkakaroon ka ng term na y dy. No? Na wala ka namang y dito na multiplier sa dy. Kaya hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitan ng pangkaraniwang substitution method. No, substitution method will not work. No, kaya sabi ko kanina, this topic, yung pagko-compute ng arc length, it involves the use of special techniques of integration. So, in this case, gagamit tayo ng tinatawag na trigonometric substitution. No? Ano yan? Yan yung mga integrals na may square root sa given. No? Kapag ka ang given, mayroon kang ganitong format, no? Square root of a squared plus x squared, no? Ang ginagamit na representation dyan is tangent. We let x be equal to a times the tangent of theta. Dito kasi ang a natin sa problem natin is obviously 1. No? And here, our x is equal to 2y. Kasi siya yung term na naka-square. Ano? So, for our representation, yung 2y, which is your x, no? Gagawin mo lang equal sa a, which is 1, no? Multiplied by the tangent of theta. And then after that, para ma-replace natin yung dy, kunan mo ito ng differentials. Sulat na natin sa kabilang slide. So, 2y equals tangent of theta. Next, get the differential of y. So, we have 2 dy equals derivative ng tangent is secant squared theta and then d theta. So, dy is 1/2 of secant squared theta d theta. Okay, so pwede na natin ngayon palitan ito, no? S equals the square root of square root of 1. Sorry po. Plus 2y squared. Okay, so 2 plus 2 2y times 2y i-square mo siya, no? So we have 2 and then yung y natin na tangent theta over 2. Okay? So that's just tangent theta over 2 and then square mo siya and then dy, no? Yung dy natin is 1/2 of secant squared theta d theta. So simplify natin para magandang tingnan. Yung 1/2 lagay ko na lang sa labas ng integral, no? Times okay. So this is magka-cancel, no? So this is 1 plus tangent squared theta. And recall the identity that sulat natin dito gamit ang ibang color. Recall that 1 plus tangent squared theta equals secant squared theta. No, galing po yan sa Pythagorean identity natin. Yung cosine squared plus sine squared equals 1. Divide both sides by cosine squared. Ito yung makukuha mo. No, so this term, 1 plus tangent squared theta, I can simply replace it by secant squared. No, tapos yung secant squared, kukunan ko ng square root, di secant na lang siya. No, yung secant na yun, imumultiply ko sa secant squared. Kaya ito, magiging secant cube. Okay, secant cube theta and then d theta. Okay, so hindi natin pwedeng ilagay yung limits natin na 0 to 2. Bakit? Yung limits na 0 to 2, yun ay para sa y, pero ito ay theta. No, so actually, kinakailangan mo muna itong ma-integrate. Diba? So, kanina, gumamit na tayo ng trigonometric substitution. Pero ito, hindi mo siya ma-integrate basta-basta. No? Ito nangangailangan ng tinatawag natin na integration by parts. Okay? So, this it requires integration by parts. Okay, so this, I think this is not the right venue, no, for doing the actual solution for secant cube theta d theta kapag in-integrate mo siya, because there is a separate topic for integration by parts and there is a separate video for that already. No, so dito isusulat ko na lang yung sagot diyan, no. Ang sagot diyan is dito na lang sa taas, no. Baguhin po natin ang kulay, no. Recall from the topic integration by parts na ang integral ng secant squared, no, not squared, that the integral of secant cube x is equal to 1/2 times the quantity sec x tan x plus ln of sec x plus, oh my god, hindi siya kasya, huhu. Ulitin ko. Recall secant cube x dx equals 1/2 times sec x tan x plus ln of sec x plus tan x. Yan. And then, lagay ko na lang sa baba plus e. Okay? So, yun lang, no? Dito, lahat ng x, papalitan mo lang ng theta. And then after that, i-evaluate mo na siya ngayon. Oh, okay. So, yun palang variable natin is theta, no? So, actually, pwede mo rin namang i-calculate yan, no? Ito, para makita mo na parehas lang ang sagot. Pero ano ang bago nating limits? Okay. So, papalitan natin ngayon yung limits. Ang representation kasi natin is 2y equals tangent theta. Remember that our representation kanina is, palitan natin yung color. Sabi natin, 2y equals tangent of theta. Okay, so theta obviously is tangent inverse of 2y, di ba? Tangent inverse of 2y. So if y equals 0, then theta would be 0 also. Tangent inverse ng 0, 0 yan. Now, if y equals 2, kasi yun yung upper limit natin, no? So, yung theta natin, magiging tangent inverse of 4. No? So, ito na nga yun yung upper limit mo dito. Okay? So, now, para lang malaman natin kung tama ba yung sagot, no? Okay. Calculahin natin ito. No? So, 1/2 times the integral of, okay, second cube is 1 over cosine cube. No, cosine x. And then, cube siya from 0 to tangent inverse of 4. Okay. So, dapat ang makuha ko dyan, kagaya lang ng sagot kanina na 4 point something. Yan. Wala pa tayong sagot. No? 4.64. Okay, 4.64. So, the answer here will be 4. Yan. Okay. Now, what if i-integrate na natin to in terms of dy? Dapat same lang yung makukuha nating sagot. No? So, what I'm trying to say is this. Kapag nagre-review ka para sa board exam, no? Pwedeng hanggang dito ka na lang. Yan, hanggang dito ka na lang. Okay? Tapos i-input mo yan sa calcu. Integral ng square root of 1 plus 2x and then squared. Wait lang, may tumatawag. Okay, so we're back. Naantala lecture video kasi may mga dumating na friends. Okay, so eto, as I was saying kanina, gusto nating malaman yung sagot dito sa S, arc length, using this integral expression. So pipindutin ko lang yan sa calcu, no? The integral of the square root of 1 plus 4y squared. Okay, so pag in-integrate natin yan, ang lalabas sa sagot ay 4.64, which is kagaya lang nung sagot natin kanina, no? So dito, ginawa natin, nag-integrate tayo using dy, no? So the answer is 4.647. 4.647, okay? Which is the same as the answer kanina. Ito 4.64 yung nasulat ko, hindi ko na round off. Dapat 4.65 siya kapag i-round off. Okay? So yun, napakita natin kung paano siya i-integrate gamit ang calculator lang, no? Sa mga nagpe-prepare para sa board exam kasi kailangan nila ng mabilisang solution. And for those who are freshmen calculus students, I also presented here the solution kung paano siya masosolve gamit ang trigonometric substitution. Actually, it's not just trigonometric substitution. After mo mag-trigonometric substitution, kinakailangan mo pa rin mag-integration by parts, no? And using integration by parts, yung secant cube x dx, ba't walang dx dyan? Kapag iyong in-integrate yan, ay ito po yung sagot. No? Ayan. So, i-evaluate mo lang to, no? Na ang lower limit ay 0 at ang upper limit ay tangent inverse of 4. Ang makukuha mong sagot, parehas lang, 4.64. Okay? So, ayan. Now, solve natin yung last problem for this episode, no? Determine the length of the curves. Okay, so this time yung x natin ay function of t, and then we have another function y as a function of t as well, at ang limits natin ay negative 1 to 3. Okay, so paano natin isosolve kapag both x and y are functions of t? Okay, so I will introduce a new formula, no? I-modify lang natin yung formula na ginagamit natin kanina, no? So if you have x as a function of t and y as a function of t, so to get the total arc length, no, you have to get the derivatives of the two. So you get dx over dt, and then you square it, plus dy over dt, and then you square it, and then dt, no? Tapos i-integrate mo siya from t1 hanggang T2. Okay? So, parametric kasi yung ating equations, no? So, both x and y are functions of t. Okay, kaya ganito po yung formula natin. Now, yung derivative natin with respect to t, tapos yung variable of integration natin dt, kaya ang limits natin ay from t equals -1 to t equals 3. Okay? Now, hindi mo na kailangan i-drawing yan. Kuha ka lang ng dx over dt at saka dy over dt. Now, ano yung dx over dt dito? So, ito magiging 2 times 3 halves times 2t plus 3 raised to 3 halves minus 1 is 1 half. And then chain rule, derivative ng 2t plus 3 is 2. Okay, so magka-cancel dito yung 2. And here, may matitira na dx over dt equals 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 2t plus 3 raised to 1 half. Okay, we do the same for y. Let's get dy over dt. Now, so here is our y. dy over dt is 6 times the quantity 3 plus t. And then 2 minus 1 is just 1. So, ito na siya ngayon. So, here we have our dx over dt at saka dy over dt. Tapos, i-substitute na lang natin siya dito. No? So, s will be dito na lang sa next slide. S equals the integral of the square root of, no? Medyo mahaba-haba yun, no? 6 times 2t plus 3 raised to 1 half. I-square mo yan. So, pag ito in-square mo, ito magiging 36. At ito mawawala lang yung 1 half. So, 36 times 2t plus 3. Okay? So, 36 times 2t plus 3. And then plus. I-square naman natin to. So, ito magiging 36 din at saka 3 plus t squared. Okay? 36 times 3 plus t and then squared. Naku, kailangan na mahaba ito. Dugtungan natin. Ayan. dt from -1 to 3. Yun yung given. No? So, kung ikaw ay nagre-review para sa boards, no, tapos na yan. Okay? Madali na yan. I-input mo na lang siya sa calcu. So, solve natin ha. Square root of, or the integral of the square root of 36 times 2x plus 3 plus 36 times the quantity 3 plus, and then square mo siya from -1 to 3. Okay. So, just wait until your calculator gives you an answer of 109.2. No? Okay, 109.2. Okay. Now, but for undergraduate students, sa mga freshmen, kinakailangan mo again ipakita yung complete solution yan, no? So, ang gagawin natin is S equals, common factor ang 36, square root ng 36 is 6. So, 6 times integral of, ano na lang ang matitira sa square root? Eh di yung 2t plus 3 plus, ito expand na lang natin, no? Pag in-expand natin yan, magiging 9 plus 6t plus t squared. Or dt, evaluate that from t -1 to 3. -1 to 3. Okay. So, let us simplify the term inside the square root. From -1 to 3 of the square root of. So, we have t squared. 2t plus 60 is 80. No? 80. 80. Bakit? 80. Plus 3 plus 9 is 12. Okay? Plus 12. And then dito, dt. Okay? Now, paano natin ito i-integrate? pwede ka mag-completing the square dyan, no? Mag-completing the square tayo, ha? S equals the integral from -1 to 3 of the square root of, no? So, t squared plus 8t plus, anong pang complete? No? Kalahati ng 8, 4 squared, 16. However, this is just 12, no? So, para ma-compensate natin yung changes, kasi naging 16 to, ito naman 12, mag-minus tayo dito ng 4. Oops, 4. And then, dt. So, now this is a perfect square, no? Kaya, pwede na natin siyang express as the square of a binomial from -1 to 3 of the square root of t, and then plus 4 squared minus 4, and then dt. Okay? Ayan. So, meron na po tayong expression, no? Na pwedeng i-integrate. Okay? Anong technique ang pwede mong gamitin para na ma-integrate? Again, use trigonometric substitution kasi meron tayong square root term, no? Na hindi kaya ng pangkaraniwang substitution method. Kaya, dito, ang gagamitin natin is trigonometric substitution. Kapag meron kang term na x squared minus a squared, no? Ganito ang gagamitin natin. Let x be equal to a secant theta. Okay? Okay, so as I was saying, kapag ka sa integral expression mo, yung integrand mo ay nagko-contain ng ganitong expression, no? Square root of x squared minus a squared. Ang trigonometric substitution na ginagamit is, we let x, the term here, be equal to a secant of theta. So, in our case, ito yung x natin. No? Okay? This is our x. And a is, so this is a squared. So, a must be equal to 2. No? So, ngayon gawin natin yan. Kabila. Let x, which is t plus 4, be equal to 2 secant theta. No? Okay? Yung x natin is t plus 4. So, we let that x be equal to a secant of theta. So, t plus 4 equals a, which is 2, and then secant of theta. Now, we get the derivatives or differentials of both sides. So, here, the derivative or the differential is dt. And then here, 0 equals 2. Derivative ng secant is secant of theta. And then, we have tangent of theta, d theta. Okay. Now, substitute na natin dito. So, the square root of t plus 4 squared. Kopyahin ko lang. Square root of t plus 4 squared. So, ito ay square lang natin. So, magiging 4 secant squared theta. Then, minus 4. And then, dt. No? Yung dt, papalitan natin ng 2 secant theta tangent theta d theta. Okay? So, itong 2 pwede ko nang isulat dito sa labas times the integral of okay. So, common factor to, yung 4, no? Square root ng 4 is 2. So, ito magiging 2 times 2 na lang. Lagay natin dito, 2 times 2 times the integral of square root ng, okay, so may matitira dito na ano, secant squared theta minus 1. No, times secant theta and then tangent theta d theta. Okay, so this term inside the square root is just recall ulit, no? That secant squared theta minus 1 equals tangent squared theta. Okay? Now, yung tangent squared theta na yan, pag in square root mo, magiging tangent na lang, no? Tapos tangent ulit. So magkakaroon ka ngayon ng term na tangent squared. No? So this expression becomes S equals 4 times the integral of secant of theta multiplied by tangent squared theta and then d theta. Ayan, from theta 1 to theta 2. Okay? Now, paano natin ito i-integrate? Pwede mo siyang gawing in terms of sine and cosine, no? S equals 4 times the integral of, so yung tangent squared, gagawin ko siyang sine squared theta and then d theta. Tapos sa baba, secant is 1 over cosine, no? Tapos sa baba kasi nito, tangent is sine over cosine, no? So may cosine squared ako dito, multiplied pa ng cosine, magiging cosine cube theta. Ayan. Okay. Now, paano mo ito i-integrate? Paano ba? Gawin mo lang tong in terms of cosine, no? So 4 times the integral of sine squared is just 1 minus cosine squared theta divided by cosine cube theta d theta. Okay? So, pwede natin paghiwalayin yan ng dalawang terms, no? 4 times the integral of, what is 1 over cosine cube? That is secant cube theta d theta. And then minus 4 times cosine squared over cosine cube. May matitira na 1 over cosine or simply secant theta d theta. Okay? Now, limits na lang yung kulang natin, no? Limits. So, paano natin kukunin yung limit? Kapag yung t kasi natin dito is, kanina, ang limits natin for t is negative 1, no? So, negative 1 to 3. Kapag t. So, kapag theta. Gamitin lang natin yung value ng t na negative 1, no? So, yung value ng t, mako-compute natin mula dito. Okay? So, we have t kunin ko na lang kaya yung theta dito, no? Expression for theta. So, I have t plus 4 over 2 equals 1 over cosine theta. Ano? Tapos, of course, meron akong cosine theta ngayon na equal siya sa, or meron akong theta kasi ang hinahanap natin is theta. Is equal to 2 over t plus 4 and then cosine inverse. Ayan. Now, so yung lower limit natin, so from here, cross-multiply mo lang yan, di ba? Pag cross-multiply mo yan, cosine theta equals 2 over t plus 4. So, to get theta, we get cosine inverse of this expression. No? So, the lower limit will be the value of theta when t equals negative 1. So, that's cosine inverse of 2/3. Okay? Cosine inverse of 2/3. Next, the upper limit will be cosine inverse of 2 over 7, no? When the value of t is 3. Okay? So, pwede mo na siyang i-calculate ngayon. Now, para sa mga undergrad, kailangan pa rin na ipakita yung solution dito. So, kanina kasi, na-discuss ko na sa inyo yung integral ng secant cube theta. Now, kanina lang, x yung ginamit ko. No? So, yung integral ng secant cube theta d theta is, pakita natin dito, ito yon, no? 1/2 times sec x tangent x plus ln of sec x plus tangent x. Absolute value yon, no? Tapos yung values dito nung x, gagawin mo lang theta. Tapos evaluate mo siya, yung upper limit, yung nakuha nating cosine inverse of 2/3 at saka cosine inverse of 2 over 7. Okay? So yun lang, no? Now, para naman sa term na to, integral ng secant theta. Di ba alam na natin yan? May formula para sa integral ng secant theta. Naku, kasi pa ba? Integral of secant x dx equals ln of sec x plus tan x. Ayan. So, i-evaluate mo lang yan dun sa limits na nakuha natin. Ano nga yung limits na nakuha natin? That's cosine inverse of 2/3 hanggang cosine inverse of 2/7. Okay? So, an important reminder, kapag ka nagpa-perform ka ng integration involving trigonometric and inverse trigonometric functions, dapat ang iyong calculator ay naka-radian mode. Okay? So, pag in-integrate mo yan, ang makukuha mo pa rin sagot, kagaya lang nung kanina, which is 109/2. Okay? Tingnan nga natin. No? I-integrate natin yan. Ito na lang, no? Para less yung isusulat ko, ito na lang yung integrate ko sa calcu. No? So, 4 times the integral of fraction sine x na naka-square, and then cosine x na naka-cube. Evaluate that from cosine inverse of cosine inverse of 2/3 hanggang inverse cosine of 2/7. Ayan. So, wait. 4. Ba't mali? Ba't kakaiba? Okay, so nung trinay ko siya, iba yung sagot. Okay, so na-review ko lang yung slide ko kanina, na-realize ko na may kulang pala ako, no? So itong part na to, yan, kinopya ko lang actually yung eto. Nakalimutan kong ilagay yung multiplier dito na 6. So lahat ng ginagawa natin kanina, eto lang yon. Nakalimutan kong isama yung 6. So, ilalagay ko dito ha. Ayan. Ibahin natin yung color. Lagyan natin dito ng 6. 6. Ayan. Tapos dito sa kabila, lagyan natin ng multiplier na 6. So, kapag dito 6. So, ito, magiging times 6. Tapos ito, magiging times 6. So, 6, 24. Ayan. Lagyan ko na lang siya dito ng 2. Ayan. 24. Para makita nyo na ibang color niya kasi dinagdag ko lang siya. No? So, kapag in-integrate mo siya, 24 times the integral of this from yung limits natin na cosine inverse of 2/3 to cosine inverse of 2/7, ang makukuha nating sagot is the same as what we obtained earlier, which is 109.2. 109.2. Same answer lang. Okay? Ito yung makukuha nating sagot, 109.2 units. Okay? So, ayan. So, as a summary, yung calculation ng arc length ay medyo advanced, no? Bakit? Kasi yung mga problem dito, kadalasan nag-involve ng term na may square. Kasi yung integrand natin, remember, yung s is equal to the integral of the square root of 1 plus. Okay? Y prime squared dx. So, yung term, no, yung integrand natin kapag may square root na term, no, usually kapag ka square root lang tapos naka-square pa to, wala ka namang multiplier na x dyan, no, hindi gaganahan yan or hindi tatabla ng algebraic substitution. Kaya ang ginagamit natin dyan is what we call the trigonometric substitution. Okay? That's why if you want to be good in solving problems involving arc lengths, you need to review this topic. Now, so there is a separate video for where I discuss the trigonometric substitution. Now, kung saan, sige na nga, dito ko na lang din i-discuss yan. No? Pahabol na topic. Pawiin ko muna to. So, ano ba yung trigonometric substitution na yun? Kapag may nakita ka dito na ganitong expression, no? Square root of a squared plus x squared, ang gagamitin mo, x is equal to a tangent theta. Kapag meron ko namang nakita na a squared minus x squared na term, yung x ay ginagawang a sine of theta. At kapag may nakita ka, yung last one, square root of, baliktarin lang natin to, x squared minus a squared, ang ginagawa nating representation is x equals a secant of theta. Okay? So, kung papalitan mo yung x, dapat yung dx papalitan mo din. So, itong x na to, kukunan mo siya ng dx para dito sa kabilang side, magkaroon ka ng term na may differential of theta. Okay? So, yun lang naman yung trigonometric substitution na most of the time ginagamit natin, no? Sa pagsosolve or pag-integrate ng arc length. Okay? Again, that's for undergraduates. Pero kapag nagre-review ka for board exams, madali lang din to. Bakit? Once na ma-formulate mo, no, yung expression, no, na i-integrate, no, i-input mo na lang yan sa calcu. Parang ito kanina, no? Hanggang dito na lang tayo, and then i-calculate mo na lang siya, may makukuha ka ng sagot, no? Again, that works only for students who are preparing for the board exam who need quick solutions. But for undergraduates, you need to show your complete solution to your professor so that you will be given credit during exams. Okay? So, good luck na lang sa mga magpa-final exams or nagpe-prepare at nag-aaral para sa mga major exams nila. Ano? So, para matulungan ko kayo, binigyan ko kayo ng practice problem dito. Ano? So, I left you 2 sample problems or 2 exercise problems sa pag-compute ng arc length. No? So, you may comment your answers, no, sa baba ng video. You may comment your answers below. Okay? And that's it. No? Tapos na tayo for this episode and see you again in my next videos. Bye!